So we're just chatting a little bit, but I do want to say this because it goes along with what we're saying. I want to say it recorded, but in the New Testament, when Yeshua talks about if we have faith the size of the mustard seed, you'll be able to move mountains. So I believe that's a prophecy of the second coming. And let me explain why. So in Revelations, there's it describes multiple events multiple times. Okay. In some of these events, it talks about a star coming out of heaven, and another time it talks about it as a mountain coming out of heaven. But you look at the parallels, it's the same event. And the mighty strong one is going to command a planet, and that's going to cause the destruction before Christ comes. Faith, size of a mustard seed, to move a mountain. Now, the mustard seed is small, but it does grow up to be a great tree for its size, right? But
not only a great tree, but one that lives for a very, very, very long time.
right.
producing the mustard flour and spice the entire time it's alive.
Yeah, yeah, it produces fruits, right?
Yes.
But anyways, that's a little interesting little tidbit. I personally do believe that is it's teaching and prophecy. So I'm going to pause again.
So last night, well, we were meeting for our scripture study, our usual scripture study. I felt like I needed to take care of, I did some other things other than the scripture study. So I went and I got showered. While I was getting ready for the shower, it's like the warm blanket came over me. And then I saw a vision, and the Lord was showing me how to create the embouchure to make it work with my horn. And so I'm pretty sure it probably sounded really funny to Ben, or maybe really annoying, but I was literally blowing raspberries through my lips, because that's literally what it is. It's the embouchure is the vibration of your lips together along with the air that pushes it through the horn and makes that nice, beautiful sound. And so I was blowing raspberries while I was getting a shower in the bathroom. I'm not sure what kind of an impact that on Ben.
I was actually just trying to stay focused on what I was
you need to move, Ben. Ben, you need to move.
You need to be in it.
I was just trying to stay focused on what I was doing. It was commenting on Romans 7.
Yeah.
But that's this last one was a big improvement from the last time I heard you.
Oh, yeah. And so I just I give thanks to for giving me the ability to actually giving me that pictorial, because I can do things if I see a picture of it, or I get physical instruction of it, or something like that. And he knows who I am, and he gave me the ability, because I was thinking before that happened, before that warm blanket came over me, I'm like, okay, I know that we have the shofar blowing tomorrow. I'm not really feeling it. I'm kind of anxious about it. I really don't sound that good with the shofar. I'm really terrible, and I don't feel like doing it.
So I just want to interject a little bit. For people who don't blow shofars, the short horn, which Matt has, is harder to do than the long horn that I have. And in fact, I got the long horn because I knew it was the easier one to start with from talking to people. Okay. I do want to get a short horn someday. Just Not right now. At some point, I do want to get a short horn also, but
it really this success for me, it's basically as Lauren said in the song, basically my the successes that I have here are his successes. And mainly this was his success because he showed me how to make it.
so for when I get a short horn, because I can kind of do it, but you've seen me. In fact, so is the whole world because they saw me messing up and then laughing and then kind of doing it right.
Right.
But when I get one, do you think you could? Are you able to put in words what he gave you?
Do you think maybe we could do a Zoom? Because I'm better at showing.
Do you?
Not
I'm fine.
necessarily.
You want to show now?
They can't, not where they're at right now.
Okay, so maybe another time then. Okay.
No. No, I can't do it with the horn. No. I can do the raspberry shape, but I can't do the horn here.
Okay, well, show what you can, and then maybe we can do it some more another time.
So basically, it was the idea that you said about smile, but the smile naturally occurs.
Yeah. Well, I only know that because I played clarinet for a million years. So.
Right. So, but the smile actually naturally occurs when you go to form the shape for the proper embouchure.
Right.
And so I smile. Hold on. So I think of, I was thinking as I was practicing my embouchure, I was literally thinking of a rhythm to do with that. And there's a huge music score out there that uses tremendous amounts of brass. It's the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. And so I think through the Lord of the Rings soundtrack and all the brass sections. And so or all the moments where there's triumphant brass or dark brass or evil sounding brass, whatever. And then I literally I literally blow raspberries to the rhythm of that thing. Now you can also change your embouchure to change the pitch. So you can think about, okay, I hear this pitch, blow the make the embouchure, vibrate the lips to as close to that pitch as I can make it, basically. And so I'm going to try and experiment with maybe on when I get to a place where I can actually practice doing different notes with my horn.
Yeah. I don't do different notes. So one thing to think about doing when you can go be like at the lake, right? You should have been recording you explaining it more because what you just said is pretty much what I said before, so it's not too helpful, but I do understand there's a problem. You kind of need the horn to get more details, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
When you are ready,
Right.
I would, if you're willing, go to the lake with Ben and record a little lesson, and then we can put it online.
That'll work. Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would work.
All right, because I think it's good to I actually like blowing my shofar.
Yes.
I actually recommend it for others.
I mean, after today, I can't wait till next month.
Yeah, you did a really good job. Yeah, in fact, I'm like, I need to blow longer when I heard yours.
Well, we determined that we wanted the blast to be 7 counts.
Sorry, say that one more time.
What?
So we determined early on that we wanted the blast to be 7 counts.
Okay. Well,
Oh.
I think it was longer than 7, but
Oh, that first one was way longer than 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I'm putting Christy on the spot, but I got her to blow the shofar once. She wants to talk about it. She's muted.
Yeah, I felt like I did a decent job for my first try.
Oh yeah. I liked it. If you'll let me, I'll put it up online. But
Sure, yeah.
all right, I'll put it up online later then. Yeah, did you have fun doing it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I like it. So I'll just put in the chat where I bought mine.
Okay.
They have cheap ones, medium ones, and very expensive ones. So I think anybody can find something in their budget. I got a medium one. So
So how big are
One
the big
thing-
ones? So how big are the big ones?
here, I'll show you mine. I won't
So-
blow it, but I'll show it.
Steven,
Yeah.
but there's one more thing. Imagine your horn and my horn going around the city of Jericho
That would be
and
cool.
playing, dude.
That'd be
like,
cool.
wow. And
Yeah,
having that
that would have been pretty impressive.
multiply-
Yeah, that would have been pretty impressive and probably
multiply,
absolutely
but it's a
scary.
multiplied effect because it's more than just, it would have been more than just me and him. It would have been me and him times, oh my God, 450.
I don't know I'm trying to let's see.
Okay.
That's a longhorn. That's
Yeah,
a
this
long
is a longhorn. It's a kudu, if I remember the animal's
Kudu.
name correctly.
a kudu.
Kudu.
Okay.
I don't remember the size, but it's kind of big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's
And
fair
then
size.
also,
It'd be hard.
Yeah.
It'd be
I don't
hard to
know if
put
you
on
can
an
see it,
airplane.
but my point.
Oh, your
blowing
mouthpiece
is
way
easier than
larger.
Matt's. Yeah, the larger
Oh
is
my
easier
God.
than smaller than Matt's.
Wow.
I would be able to play that easy.
Oh yeah, especially after today. Yeah. The smaller, tighter ones are harder. But I did the bigger one on purpose, actually. But
Nice.
I have in Argentina I bought one of those plastic horns, right?
Okay.
And I got my kids to do it like instantly. But that's even those plastic horns are a bigger mouthpiece than that
Right.
one. But
Great.
it's easier to start bigger than smaller in general.
Gotcha.
so-
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna pause. So a couple points off of Labyrinth, just off the top of my head, that are very gnostic. Hoggle, no one could ever remember how to say his name or say it right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just like how the Jews will not say the name of Yahweh Elohim,
Right.
and nobody knows how to say it, right? And
Right.
then another interesting point, going off the top of my head, is I forget the girl's name, but the one that's going through the maze. When she kisses Hoggle, he falls down into the pit of eternal stench. But then he just barely hangs on by holding on to a stake. You know what that looks like to me? The cross.
Yep.
Because what sent him to the cross was Judas betraying Yeshua with a kiss.
Mm-hmm.
He then hung on a tree
Yep.
by a stake, just like Hoggle barely hung on to the stake and went to where it fire and brimstone stinks, right?
Yep.
And then here's another one just off the top of my head, where they're taking each other's body parts apart, right? Ripping each other apart. I do think that refers to Paul, and that each person is a different part of the body. Some's the head, some's the eyes, some's the hands.
Yep.
It's pretty
and-
interesting.
And she throws the pieces apart so they're not working together, right? Like the pagan Catholic Church does. But anyways, that's a whole nother subject. But there's three little points just off the top of my head. I still like the movie, partly probably because of my childhood. But although I can see the message behind it, I still can appreciate the art although I hate what they're doing with it, right?
Right, right.
All right. You know, it's kind of like I still love the Lord of the Rings movies. I probably always will, but I know what they're saying.
Oh yeah, and we've talked about that. It's very gnostic, right? In fact,
It's
I think a lot of other movies kind of
it's borderline occult.
yeah. Well, you know better on that part. I didn't get that far into that area, but I do think a lot of other movies base ideas from that movie, though, to be
Oh,
honest.
yeah.
Yeah. I think almost all of the fantasy genre bases its entire uh, repertoire on J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah. I
Yes.
definitely see a lot of borrowed elements from all the different movies.
Yep. You're
All right, so I'm gonna pause again.
So we just finished watching a music video by the group Kane called The Commission. And the music video had scenes playing from The Chosen. I am personally not a great supporter of this particular series, as I find that there are many occult references and just straight up falsehoods
Yeah. Well, and
about the
I'll add
Savior
to that.
throughout the
So there's a,
series.
I'll add to that. So there's at least a second witness. They teach a lawless Christ, which is
Correct.
the Antichrist.
Correct.
So
And I'm just gonna go over just a few of the things that I noticed as I've been going through the series and just kind of watching through the series. Near the very beginning of the series, when Jesus Christ, or Yeshua, more appropriately named, Yeshua is in the temple teaching the rabbis, and his mother and father find him, and his father says, "What are you going to do to make up this transgression to your mother?" Suggesting that Jesus Christ transgressed or had sinned.
button. Sorry about that.
It's all
I'm
right.
pushing the
It's all
wrong
right.
buttons.
Now we know from the scriptures that Yeshua was perfect. He was the lamb without blemish.
Specifically, we're told that he was sinless in the scriptures, right?
Yes, he was completely sinless.
So here's some that I have collected that mentions that he's sinless. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 verses that I've collected that state that he's sinless.
Right. Another one of the things in the series that bothered me is that it clearly states in the New Testament that Jesus Christ was not able to be detained or to have a hand laid on him until it was his time. And in the series, he's arrested twice for questioning by a Roman authority. And we know that this is just a straight up falsehood. This is a lie.
Yeah.
This was added in as an attempt at artistry to add some pizzazz, I guess, to the storyline, but it is a falsehood.
Yeah. They're I understand taking some artist license, author or artist license.
Right.
He is not just doing that, he's contradicting.
Correct.
In fact, on that one, he couldn't even be detained, even to the point where when he went back to his hometown and he preached in the synagogue on the Sabbath, right? They wanted to throw him off the cliff, and they got all the way to the cliff,
and then he walked calmly away.
And then you walked calmly, like, because he was
just
protected
slipped through
and
the crowd
nobody
and
could
walked
touch
off.
him, right?
Right.
And that was a huge crowd,
Right. There, if this was a normal situation, he's a dead man. He's going to his death right now.
Right. And he just walked away.
And without a scratch. Right. So
Yep,
well,
no Roman
it doesn't
soldiers
say that.
detained.
It doesn't say that, but he walked away. So there are other things that that bother me immensely about this TV series.
Well, one of the things that bothers me about the shows There's a particular scene from I believe it was season 3, where Peter is being where the walking on water scene.
Mm.
Peter is attempting to walk on the water, and his wife is experiencing a a uh, a Kabbalah is going through a Kabbalah purification ritual at the
Mhm.
same time. Um, and I'll just say, during that Kabbalah purification ritual, the symbolism for the mother goddess is in full effect. You can see it everywhere. And then when Jesus reaches to pull Peter out from the water, he does so with the with a Masonic grip.
Mhm. That is very disturbing. But for
Right, and then
me,
also when the wife was getting baptized, she had her hands in the pagan praying
yes,
Yeah,
pose, like Mary.
the Queen of Heaven.
yeah.
And then also it was women doing baptisms
It was women
instead of
performing the
men.
baptism.
Right.
But one of the
Um,
things that bothered me the most, Jesus Christ, one of his seminal moments,
Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yeshua HaMashiach, one of his seminal moments in his earthly ministry was what Stephen likes to refer to as the Sermon on Torah, or the rest of the Christian world refers to it as Sermon on the Mount. And he started asking in the chosen, he starts asking his apostles for help and to make sure that what he's trying to say is kosher and good and all that good stuff, and that it will please the people and all this stuff. The law, Torah, that's his law. He knows it forwards and backwards. He is the author of it. He doesn't need to ask anybody if any of it is kosher. You either keep the law or you don't. And it doesn't matter which parts of it you like or you don't like. We're not scratching parts of the law out here. This is the law.
but right, and he's the author of the law, right? And
Correct.
so he's the
And
one that
not
gave us
and he
to
didn't
us.
and he didn't author it with assistance from his 12 apostles. No.
The author of the law condescended
Right.
condescended come
Yeah.
into mortality to come into mortality as Yeshua HaMashiach.
Mhm.
And he lays by his power and picks it up again through obedience to the law.
To his law, the
Yes.
law that he authored
Yes.
without help from anybody else,
And
without help from any human.
and if you wish to know Yeshua, you must follow in his footsteps.
Yes.
In fact,
But
as we've looked at before, I'm just going to state it. We don't have to go prove it again, but follow means imitate.
right. Mhm.
And Zach had something to say.
Exactly. And so these are just some of the things that I've noticed, as I've been watching The Chosen, that really put this as not an accurate portrayal of the Yeshua that I am coming to know as I'm studying the scriptures.
Right.
This is more like a lawless.
Right. They do
Lawless
teach a
Jesus. This
lawless.
is a lawless Jesus.
Yeah, they do teach a lawless Christ, and they're doing heart cell techniques, which I'll add. I'll give some links for that. But heart cell is where they're playing with your emotions, right?
Yeah,
And it's not good. It's deceitful.
it is. It is.
Zach has something to say.
So are you going to let yourself be manipulated by your emotions, or are you going to guide your life by his law? Right.
I'm sorry, Zach, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, it's like I agree with everything you're saying, but I have something positive to say about the show.
Sure.
Sure,
Just
that's fine. Go ahead.
only
It's
one.
not all bad.
I don't
No, it's not.
I don't really care for the show. Like I only seen one season and the first season, and the one scene I liked was when he uh he healed Mary at the very end of the first episode.
Mhm.
He was reciting Isaiah 43 verse 1. But now thus saith Yahweh that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine.
Mhm.
And that seems really great. But otherwise, I don't really care for the show.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
agree with everything you're saying.
I think
You
along
know,
those lines is that the wicked mix in good with their teachings all the time, such that the
Right.
people who in general are good, right? They have something to grab onto and say, no, this is good.
That was
While
the
they're
hook.
ignoring all the
That
bad.
was the hook.
that scene got me hooked into the whole first season.
Oh, okay.
Honestly,
When
though I
I
did.
first saw it, I didn't like it, but
That's
then
the one.
someone talked me into watching again, and he got me addicted. The guy that because I did start liking it because I let someone talk me into it, but initially I didn't like it. But anyways, it has
Then by the then
good
through
and bad.
the
And the problem is that people are going to the movie instead of the scriptures to really know.
Yes.
well, it's the subsequent seasons that turned me off of it.
Sure. And this is a technique that a lot of the occult things do. They make it soft initially to get you hooked, and then they start hardening or doing more occult and gnostic as they go on.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so that way you're
They
less
skip
susceptible to it,
they
right?
skip the entire baptism of Jesus of Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yeah. I mean, they have excuses, right? But they should have done it.
It's not a valid excuse. It's a
Oh,
wrong
I
excuse.
agree. That's excuses I don't find valid, but
Right.
um
Well, that's why they're excuses. If they were valid, they would be reasons.
exactly.
Well,
Good point,
true.
man.
Yes.
Very good
Very
point.
good point.
Yeah,
Very
no,
good
yeah,
point.
very good point there.
Yep.
But yeah.
So that is my those are some of the things that have truly bothered me about the Chosen series. There are other things, but I'm running out of time to go into them. So
Yeah, no, that's fine. I
we can save it
shared
for another time.
sure. I shared a video that mostly stayed on doctrinal things, but not completely.
Mhm.
In my Waking and Rising group. Let me go get it, and I'll put it in the notes so you can have it and other people can have it. So we're not the only ones seeing these problems. Okay, there's other people seeing it too. I
I'm
will
sure
say
there's some
though,
evangelists. I'm sure there's are some evangelical factions out there that are definitely seeing some stuff in there.
right. A lot of that I've seen that speak against it are more personal attacks against Dallas or the actors.
Yeah, but
And I don't
let's
really
focus on the
care for
doctrine.
that too much. I more want doctrinal stuff, but that's
Yes.
more
Yes.
what I care about, right?
Mhm.
But yeah.
Likewise. I'd rather focus
Well,
on the doctrine.
yeah.
People are people. People will do what people do. But
Well,
let's focus on the doctrine, right?
Well,
Yeah.
the main thing, the main reason why people focus on personal attacks is because they don't know the doctrine well enough to be able to attack their doctrinal approach.
Correct.
I agree with you. Most of them don't know it enough, and I'm not passionate enough about that movie or I'm not movie, but TV series to expose it to go work on it because I'm more worried about some other things. But
I think there
so
are more important
it's
things.
one thing to kind of see it; it's quite another to put it in writing or
Yes.
video, right?
Yep.
So
Or to do a video commentary, right? Yeah, it's two totally different things. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to give your opinion. It's quite another to back it up, right?
Right. Correct. With actual verse and scripture. Yes.
Right. And so I appreciate this video I don't agree with it completely, but enough that I shared it. They shared enough doctrinal things. I felt like it's worthy to look at, but they do focus a little bit on, or some on the actual people and doing some personal attacks instead of doctrine.
Yeah.
But they do have some doctrinal aspects in it. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely take a look at that. But I do have to, I am going to have to go here. I gotta,
Okay, that's fine.
I have a long day of work ahead.
Sure. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right. So I'm going to pause.
Come on, buddy.